And hello, Shock fans. This is your beloved Soldier of the Inverted Cross here for a Bionicle / Hero Factory video. Now, what this is, it's showing a revamp of all the heroes from Hero Factory, along with something at the end, which you can tell by the title what it's going to be. Basically, in my Bionicle stories, no spoilers or anything, but after I wrote all the various tales and stuff I wanted to, the very end ends very close to Journey to One, where the Toa return to the stars they came from in order to stop Makuta. So in that time between the original story and the future, these guys arise as heroes since there's no more Toas. They basically each come from different walks of life. I didn't like the idea of them being built in a factory, so yeah, that's gone. There's heroes, and then there's bounty hunters, and the bounty hunters aren't necessarily evil. Some of them just want to be paid just for, to stop crime. But then there's bounty hunters that kill for money. So you kind of have like a fine line to go through there with the bounty hunters in my story. But Evo here is the main character. Now, he's not too different from his original toy. A little bit taller, I think. I don't really remember what I changed on all these. I just added some stuff like these, covered the back. The feet are essentially the same. I tried to keep all these shorter than the Toa for the most part. He's not really, like I said, these are just meant to be slightly modified versions of the originals. So, yeah, this is Evo. He's the main character. Attitude-wise, he isn't always confident in himself, but he has a friend that is very influential to the story. I'll say that much. She's a bounty hunter. And she's like a very important person to him, and his character ends up growing due to her, basically. And I'll go and show her off. And this one isn't like changing too much from the Brain Attack Breeze, but this character isn't Breeze. This is Cyanide, which is in my story. She's actually Breeze's sister. Breeze is in the story, but she's a bounty hunter, but she's not an evil bounty hunter. She just basically needs, to make a living, to make ends meet. She's a bounty hunter. But she doesn't kill for money. She just stops crime for money. And occasionally helps Evo and stops crime for, no charge or whatever. Really happy with how she turned out. Just adding a few bits with these kind of things sort of helps. The blades, just fills her out, makes her look less thin, because this is at the point where they kind of got lazy. And the weapons I'd added, just you can kind of tell where she's different from the original. But she's kind of she's an experienced bounty hunter. She knows what she's doing, and is really, a huge help to Evo. Moving on from her, though, one of Evo's friends, who is another veteran hero, is Stormer. Now, Stormer, I borrowed a bit from his XL design and a bit from his 2.0. Like, I kept him, if you look at his size, he's not that much bigger than Evo, but I still tried to give him that bulky look that he had. We'll show the feet here and the legs. And I filled in the legs using the original, feet pieces from the original Stormer toy. Filled out the back, again, nothing major here, but Stormer's kind of like he was in the show. If you guys watch that, he's not as much of a strict douchebag as he was in that show, but he's still, he knows what he's doing, and he gives good advice in my story, basically. Is the best way for me to word it. Let's see, who else? Another member of Evo's team, and they're more so friends that just fight together, I guess, is Rocka. Now, Rocka really isn't that different. I think the only thing I did was add another joint right in here to make the gun be able to pose a bit better. Yeah, I really don't think I did much different. But Rocka's like the gunner of their team. He's I've kind of changed him a bit from the story. Haven't really wrote much with him, so as a character I haven't developed him a ton. He just basically, best way to word it, I guess, is he's just he's not super cocky, I guess. He's just pretty. He's he's basically confident, whereas Evo questions himself at times. Rock is pretty sure he can get the job done, but he doesn't get himself into situations like that are dangerous, like because he believes he can do it without his team. He still feels he needs his team. He just feels like they're going to win no matter what, I guess. So it's enough with Rocka. And now we're getting on to basically the city that I have them in. I think was, I named it, I just took the name Metro Nui since it was a futuristic, city in Barnacle, and made the neighboring city was Metro Nuva. So these heroes are from the neighboring city that they go to in a later story. And the first one, and he's the leader of the team in the other city, is Surge. Now, I bought this guy on eBay, the figure itself, and I just added a few things here and there. So I don't honestly know how different this is from the original Surge. This might not even, I don't even remember what I did these like last year. So remembering what I actually did to them. Surge is pretty much, he's not like the naive kid like character, or not naive, but he's not like the kiddish character he was in the show. He's a pretty confident hero, He leads them like very strategically. He's not a no-nonsense guy. He does have a sense of humor. He's just very good at his job, but he doesn't let that go to his head, I guess, is the best way of wording it. He's a humble hero, I suppose. But the next character, and these are all characters that are on his team, is this is Nix. Now Nix, I did make him shorter on everyone. Nix is essentially their communications officer. He's the quiet, smart one. Again, he doesn't change too much from his original. I do need to get another orange panel for this arm at some point. But he does have these for weapons, is all I gave him, because he isn't really the fighter of the team. He's the brains of the operation. I did give him a lot of pipes, so just to cover up a lot of stuff the best I could. I'm happy with how he turned out. He's very basic, but I like him. Next is the younger team member of Surge's team, and that's Furno. Now, Furno he still has he's a very confident hero, very full of himself at times. He jumps in and gets in trouble many times in my story, and sometimes needs rescuing. Again, he's not much different from the original toy, just, I gave him 2 of these from the 1.0 version. This pipe, this foot piece I used for armor on his back. I did cover this up. I tried to use keep these as basic and uniform as I could. I did use the 2.0 head because I like how you could turn this around and make the baseball cap looking visor that he had in the show. But yeah, I didn't really give him the whole thing he had in the show where he grew as a hero and was oh, I understand now, I can lead. He's still kind of a cocky character, kind of full of himself at times. But I do enjoy, like I said, I like how these all turned out very uniform. They're nothing super complex. Now, I showed you guys Cyanide, Breeze. And Breeze was my favorite hero, because especially in this design, because she had the Samus look. Oh, the Samus look going for her. And I like the praying mantis looking head. Now, I didn't go with the whole, she's the female character, that's super, streamlined, I guess is what you'd say. I did make her very bulky. I kept her very, powerful looking. Because she, hold on, this is caught under there. She is basically, a very experienced hero that, helps out Evo later in the story after some events happen. And like I said, she's not very different from the original one. I didn't really change much on her. I just added a few things to make her look a little bit unique, but she's still about the same. And like I said, she's a very smart, strategic character in my story. and really helps the other heroes a lot. Now we're on to the final two. Now this is the final member of the team for Surge, Stringer, and he was actually the last. I just built this guy the other day from some few parts I had. Luckily, finally got to rebuild all the heroes. Again, and I know my camera's not going to show him up very well, even if it is HD. It's like the color throws him off a bit. The legs I did make a bit unique. I used these legs and then attached these spikes to the front. Stringer is basically the gunner. He's the very strong, you know, very bulky. Well, he's about the same size, but he's like the goes in gun blazing kind of guy. He really, I should have like thought this out more, but I guess he really just goes in firing. He breaks the enemy's guard essentially. He goes in, and then the heroes follow. Other heroes follow behind him. Again, I haven't really wrote him much into the story because I wasn't sure if I'd get to build him, and that's why I like this part of him is like very choppy, his actual backstory. But it's something on those lines of he's gonna be the guy who always goes in. He's a really good shot, etc. And the final hero is actually, he's a bounty hunter in my story, but he only charges like the rich. He actually does all his heroic deeds for free, other than like bodyguarding the rich. And this is Bulk, which was one of my favorite. This one's one of my favorites. Him and Evo turned out really well. I'm just happy with how they look, and there's how much bigger Bulk is than Evo. So I tried to give him a little bit more height than the rest of them, just due to the fact that his name is Bulk. I'll go and show the legs. I didn't have any silver feet, so I had to go with black, but they matched the fist. Just the back of him. Gun mounted on his shoulder. I did try to do two, but it just seemed like the weight was very, very much weight on him. Didn't want to hold it up. Now, Bulk's a veteran hero / bounty hunter. He's a little bit of both. And he resides in the Metro Nuva city where Surge's team's at, and he helps them out a lot from time to time. Not really a lot, like I said, I can say about these characters, because what I'm working on for that story is just a rough draft at the moment. So that's, you know, like I said, that's why it's a bit like, oh, this is why, you know, like that. Now, the final villain, I've given a spoiler. The final character is the main villain of the Hero Factory / Bionicle series. I didn't go with Nebula. I went with, and give me a second to adjust the camera. Because he is a big one. Cyborg Makuta. And again, I'm still trying to work with this camera a bit to get him better in shot. And actually shoot this straight. Okay, there. Basically, in my story, Makuta's Mask of Shadows is found after the final battle in some ruins by a scientist, which is Nitroblast, essentially, is who I used for him. He's working on this new type of robot. Think of him as like Eggman, basically. He wants to conquer the world. But he finds this ancient mask, and he thinks, oh, this will make, you know, this might be a good power source for my robot. And he slaps it on there, and it's the Mask of Shadows, and it mutates into this, and Makuta's spirit was inside the mask. And he takes possession of the body, and essentially forces everyone on the bad side to work for him to a certain extent. And basically just causes the heroes a lot of problem, as he did the Toa. Now, I know he's not showing up super well because of the black colors on him. This, I did give him, I don't know why I thought this was cool, I guess just because of Zero from Mega Man. I gave him a ponytail made of chain. The shoulders are using the Death Trooper bits, and I'm going to pick him up and show you guys the legs. The legs are using the Death Trooper bits. These are the older feet. I gave him blades on the arm, each arm, and then these. The Death Trooper gun, I felt, you know, suits him very well. The back of him is a bit of a mess. I gotta finish working it out. He's got these two coattails, basically, that he can take off and use as blades, which they are blades, they're the big ass swords. And scale, as far as scale with this guy, here he is with Evo. So he's not like dwarfing them horribly like my like 14-inch Makuta is that I made, but he is. There he is with Evo. Nex is the shortest, so there he is with Nex. And let me back it up a little bit to show this off. This is the and then here's the tallest, Bulk. And with Bulk, let's move Evo out of here. Bulk is just a bit shorter than him. So I know this isn't, you know, like the freaking Bionicle ones I've did, the huge slideshows, but I do hope that this, you know, since I'm not getting to build as many, since Bionicle's not, you know, making any new sets, I hope this makes people happy. And I hope everybody enjoyed this video, because it's a long ass video and took me a while to record. And until next time, this has been your beloved Soldier of the Inverted Cross, Rip the Full-Blown Freak Show. I'm signing off. Keep building, and farewell.